Most men chase love. Stoic men attract it. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be one." These aren't just ancient words. They're the foundation of something most men today have forgotten. While the world screams louder about quick texts, perfect selfies, and playing games to get attention, the Stoic man remains still, grounded, unshaken. He doesn't beg for love, he doesn't perform for it. He becomes a man that love gravitates towards. Look around you. Modern dating has become a battlefield of confusion. Men scrolling through advice, jumping from one tactic to another. Text her this, wait 3 hours, act distant, act charming, always acting, but never being. The result? Exhaustion, rejection, emptiness. Why is it that the men who try the hardest are often left unnoticed? And why do some men, quiet, composed, focused, seem to effortlessly pull the attention and affection others chase? Here's the truth most never realize. Women don't fall in love with effort. They fall in love with essence, and that essence can't be faked. No charm, no smooth line, no flashy display can replace it. It's something you build, something you become. And once it's there, she feels it deeply. There are only 3 real reasons a woman falls in love with a man. Not 7, not 12, just 3. And they are nothing like the things you've been told. They have nothing to do with looks, wealth, or a six-pack. They go deeper, into the parts of you that no one sees but everyone senses. You're about to understand why the Stoic man doesn't chase love. Because love, real love, finds him. And that's where the real difference begins, between love and attachment. Something most people never stop to understand. Stoic philosophy doesn't just guide us in how to deal with pain or pressure. It teaches us how to see love through a sharper, cleaner lens, without the noise, without the fear. To a Stoic, love is not about needing someone. It's not about filling an empty space inside you. Real love is a choice, a calm, grounded connection. It's when 2 whole people come together, not to complete each other, but to grow alongside one another. It's not born from lack, but from strength. Most people confuse love with attachment, but they're not the same. Attachment is clingy. It panics when you're apart. It demands attention, creates jealousy, and feeds on fear. It whispers, "Don't leave me, I need you." That isn't love. That's dependency disguised as passion. You see it all the time. Couples who claim they can't live without each other, yet constantly argue, feel insecure, or lose themselves in the process. That isn't romance. That's emotional slavery. And in the long run, it burns out. Stoicism flips this idea on its head. It teaches you to stand tall within yourself first, to not need love in order to feel whole. Imagine how powerful that is, to care deeply for someone but remain untouched by fear, by jealousy, by desperation. That's emotional freedom. That's real power. When you live by Stoic values, your heart stays open, but your mind stays strong. You can love someone fully and still remain calm if they leave. Not because you don't care, but because you've built yourself in a way that no one else can break. Whether you're loved, ignored, praised, or rejected, you remain unshaken. And this is rare. And rare is attractive. A man who is emotionally sovereign, who isn't pulled around by every mood or moment, becomes a pillar, a lighthouse in the storm. Women don't just notice that, they feel it, because in a world full of anxious attachments, a man who loves without needing stands out. And when a man becomes that lighthouse, steady, calm, unmoved by storms, something powerful starts to happen. People begin to trust his presence, especially women. Because the first reason a woman truly falls in love with a man is emotional mastery. This isn't about pretending you don't feel anything. It's about understanding what you feel and not letting those feelings control you. Most men react. They get angry when someone insults them. They panic when things don't go their way. They crumble under pressure, but the man who's mastered himself, he responds with calm, with patience, with silence when silence is stronger than words. Imagine this. Two men are standing in a room. One gets provoked and he instantly snaps, shouting, defending, losing control. The other stays still. He hears the insult but doesn't take it personally. He's aware of the game and chooses not to play. Now tell me, which one feels more powerful? That quiet strength? It's rare. And it's magnetic. A woman can sense when a man isn't driven by impulse, when he's not desperate to prove himself, when he doesn't fold under pressure. Because that kind of man makes her feel safe, not just physically, but emotionally. She knows he won't lash out, won't fall apart, won't blame her for his own chaos. He's centered. That's a different kind of strength. And it commands respect. Stoicism teaches this kind of strength. Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." A man who lives by this knows that the world doesn't owe him comfort. People will lie, cheat, insult, ignore. That's not his concern. His only job is to stay in control of himself, and women can feel that, even if they don't say it out loud. Because here's the truth. Emotional chaos is exhausting. A man who needs constant reassurance, who overreacts, who makes every problem bigger, pushes people away. But the man who can sit in discomfort without breaking, who can hold space for both his own emotions and hers, without judgment or fear, that man is rare. Emotional mastery doesn't mean you don't feel. It means your feelings don't own you. You can be sad and still show up, angry and still speak with clarity, in love and still remain grounded. That's why Stoic men are different. They don't beg for love. They don't crumble when it's taken away. They don't chase after chaos hoping to be seen. They live from the inside out, not the outside in. And the woman who meets that kind of man, she feels something deeper, a respect that turns into attraction, an attraction that turns into admiration, and admiration, when rooted in emotional safety, becomes love. Not the wild, unstable kind, the deep, calm, lasting kind, because love without emotional mastery is a wildfire. It burns fast and ends in ash. But love rooted in stillness, that lasts. But emotional mastery alone isn't enough. There's something deeper that pulls a woman in. Not just how you handle your feelings, but what you live for. Because once she sees that you don't crumble under pressure, the next thing she looks for is direction. Where are you going? What drives you? And this leads us to the second reason a woman truly falls in love with a man: his devotion to purpose over pleasure. See, most men today are chasing comfort, chasing ease. They want the girl, the car, the followers, but very few are chasing meaning. And without meaning, life feels empty, no matter how much pleasure you collect. But a man who's chasing something bigger than himself, he carries a different energy. He walks with intention. He doesn't need to speak loudly, his actions already do. Seneca once said, It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it. The Stoics didn't just believe in living, they believed in living well, with purpose, with fire. And that fire is attractive, not because it's loud, but because it's focused, controlled. A man on a mission doesn't need attention. He becomes the kind of person people naturally pay attention to. Women feel this energy on a deep level, because she doesn't want to be your mission. She wants to be with a man who already has one. A man who wakes up with drive, who builds quietly, who isn't constantly checking if she's still interested. Because his life doesn't revolve around her. It revolves around something far greater. Think of a warrior. He wakes up before the sun, sharpens his tools, trains in silence. He's not chasing pleasure. He's building something. An empire, a legacy. Not for applause, not for validation, but because it's who he is. That man is rare, and rare always attracts. Now contrast that with the man who lives for instant gratification. He scrolls for hours, chases women, avoids discomfort, and gets lost in distractions. His energy leaks everywhere. And when he meets a woman, he clings to her like she's the only thing giving his life meaning. That's not love, it's dependency. And it repels. But the man who lives with purpose, he doesn't chase. He walks forward. And if she walks beside him, great. But if not, he keeps moving. That's powerful. That's attractive. That's love without neediness. Because at her core, a woman doesn't want to be the sun around which your life orbits. She wants to be part of your world, not the reason it exists. She wants to witness you become something greater, not be the thing holding you back from it. The Stoics knew this. They believed in a life of virtue, discipline, and direction. They didn't chase comfort, they chased growth. And that pursuit made them dangerous, respected, admired. When you live for something bigger than yourself, you stop begging the world for approval. You move with quiet confidence, and that's when love finds you. Not when you're desperate for it, but when you no longer need it to feel whole. Because a man who walks with purpose doesn't just attract attention, he earns respect. And respect is the soil where real love begins. By now you've noticed a common thread. The qualities that truly attract a woman are rooted in strength, depth, and emotional stability. The final piece of the puzzle, the third reason a woman falls for a man, is something that anchors everything else: inner stability. It's the quiet confidence that radiates from within. Imagine a storm. Winds howling, waves crashing. But in the midst of the chaos, there's one steady light cutting through the darkness. That's what the calm man represents, a lighthouse in the storm. And just like a lighthouse is unwavering, the Stoic man becomes a refuge for the woman who needs stability in a world full of unpredictability. Women are drawn to men who provide that kind of emotional safety. Not because they are weak or needy, but because they've learned how to manage their own emotions. They're grounded. Their mental world isn't a storm waiting to happen. It's a safe place where things are steady and composed. And that's deeply attractive. When a woman senses that you won't fall apart when things get tough, or that you won't lash out over small inconveniences, she relaxes. She feels safe. She knows that no matter what happens, you can handle. This sense of security is magnetic. She starts to trust you more, and that trust leads to deeper connection. Now, the reason the Stoic path is so powerful here is simple. It trains you to regulate your thoughts and reactions. The world will always throw chaos your way, whether it's work pressure, relationship challenges, or external stress. But Stoicism teaches you to manage your mind, not be controlled by it. When things go wrong, the Stoic doesn't panic. Instead, he takes a moment to reflect. He observes. He responds, not reacts. This is what sets the Stoic man apart from others. While others are swept away by their emotions, he remains steady. He doesn't get swept into drama. When there's conflict or chaos around him, he doesn't lash out or collapse. He stands tall, calm, composed. Contrast this with the man who's emotionally volatile, the one who's quick to anger, overly sensitive, or prone to overreacting. These men might get attention, but it's rarely the type of attention that leads to lasting love. Instead, it leads to uncertainty, emotional roller coasters, and a lack of trust. A woman might be attracted to this type at first, but deep down, she knows it's not sustainable. She doesn't feel secure with him. But the Stoic man, his strength isn't loud or aggressive. It's quiet, controlled, and unshakable. And when a woman feels that, she's drawn to it, because it offers her a sense of peace and emotional safety. She knows that in his presence, she can be vulnerable without fear of being judged or manipulated. She knows that when the storms of life hit, he won't break or crumble. He'll stand strong, and together they'll weather it. When you stop needing someone to stabilize you, you become a stable force for others. You become someone who welcomes love, not out of desperation, but out of a grounded, secure sense of self. This is the power of Stoicism. It gives you the inner peace and mental resilience that makes you a safe haven for others. And in a world full of chaos, that stability is incredibly attractive to a woman who craves emotional refuge. The Stoic doesn't react. He reflects. He doesn't fall apart in the face of adversity. Instead, he uses the challenge to grow. And it's this steadiness, this unshakable calm that draws women in, creating an emotional bond that's deep, stable, and real. As we've seen, the qualities that truly make a woman fall for a man go far deeper than what the world often emphasizes. In modern culture, we're often led to believe that surface-level things, looks, money, and status, are what will truly make a woman attracted to you. While these things might grab her attention at first, they don't have the lasting power to anchor love. It's easy to think that a flashy car or a well-sculpted physique will keep a woman by your side. But in reality, these things often fade over time. The truth is, without the inner traits that Stoicism teaches, such as emotional mastery, purpose, and inner stability, everything else falls short. Let's look at celebrities as an example. Many high-profile people have money, fame, and status, yet they're often the ones who face the greatest challenges in relationships. We've all seen the headlines of famous personalities getting cheated on or going through messy breakups. Despite their success, they don't always hold on to love. This is a harsh reality. Surface-level traits alone cannot sustain a relationship. The reason for this is simple. While money, status, and looks might attract someone, they don't create a deep, lasting connection. Those things might get you noticed, but they don't keep someone's heart with you. What truly makes a woman stay is your inner gravity. The strength, the calm, the purpose, and the self-control that emanates from within. This is what anchors. A woman wants someone who has mastered himself, not just his appearance. She's attracted to the man who has a strong sense of direction, who doesn't need external validation because he already knows his worth. It's not about having the perfect body or the most expensive clothes. It's about being a man who can stand strong in the face of challenges and remain emotionally grounded. In the end, the only thing you truly have control over is what's within your power, your character, your discipline, and your choices. While you can't control how others see you or the circumstances you're born into, you can always choose how you respond. That's the true source of lasting attraction. When you focus on improving yourself from the inside out, when you develop your character and emotional strength, you become irresistible to women, not because of your surface-level traits, but because of the depth and power that lies within you. Now that we've explored the core qualities that draw women in, emotional mastery, purpose, and inner stability, let's talk about how you can actually cultivate these traits in your everyday life. The good news is, it's not as difficult as it might seem. With small, consistent actions, you can develop the kind of strength and self-discipline that naturally attract respect and affection. First, to master your emotions, you need to practice daily disciplines that train your mind to stay calm and in control. One effective way is journaling. Take a few minutes each day to reflect on your thoughts, your feelings, and your experiences. Writing down what's on your mind can help you process emotions and get a clearer perspective on things. Another powerful practice is cold exposure. Whether it's a cold shower or a quick dip in cold water, it's uncomfortable at first, but it teaches you to control your reactions to discomfort and strengthens your emotional resilience. Breathwork is another great tool for emotional mastery. Simple breathing exercises, like deep belly breaths, can help you center yourself when you feel overwhelmed, bringing you back to a state of calm. These small actions, done consistently, will build your emotional muscle and make you unshakable, no matter what life throws your way. Next, focus on developing your sense of purpose. Set long-term goals for yourself, ones that align with your values and passions. The key is to live with intentionality, always moving toward something meaningful, rather than just drifting through life. Ask yourself regularly, what's my mission? And make choices that push you closer to that goal. You don't need to have everything figured out, but having a purpose, whether it's building a business, mastering a skill, or contributing to a cause, will give you direction and make you feel grounded. The purpose-driven man is inherently attractive because he isn't focused on seeking validation. His value comes from his dedication to something greater than himself. Finally, cultivating calm is a crucial part of becoming a man who is emotionally stable and steady in any situation. Start by establishing a morning routine that sets the tone for your day. This might include a few minutes of meditation, a walk outside, or simply sitting in silence. You can also do a digital detox to reduce the constant barrage of distractions. Take some time away from your phone and social media to be present with yourself. Additionally, practice controlling your reactions throughout the day. When someone cuts you off in traffic or says something that irritates you, resist the urge to react immediately. Instead, pause, take a deep breath, and choose your response thoughtfully. This practice of delayed responses builds inner stability, and over time you'll find yourself feeling more grounded and calm, no matter what's happening around you. It's important to remember that these changes aren't about impressing women. They're about becoming the best version of yourself. The Stoic philosophy teaches us that self-improvement is a lifelong journey, and the work you do on yourself benefits you in every area of life, from relationships to career to personal fulfillment. So every time you choose to act with patience, purpose, and emotional control, you're not just becoming more attractive to others. You're becoming a stronger, more resilient person for your own sake. Keep at it, and over time, you'll notice these Stoic traits become second nature, giving you the power to not only attract love, but also to live a life of true fulfillment. Most men today struggle in their relationships because they focus on seeking comfort and external validation rather than building their inner strength and character. They chase after love, hoping it will fill an emptiness they feel inside. They look to women as a way to complete them, to make them whole. But this approach rarely works. Women can sense this energy, this neediness, and it often repels them. The truth is, when a man's happiness and self-worth depend on someone else, it creates an unhealthy dynamic. It's a trap many men fall into, seeking external validation rather than cultivating self-sufficiency. The Stoic man, on the other hand, doesn't need anyone to complete him. He is already whole. He is grounded in his own identity and purpose before he enters into a relationship. A Stoic man doesn't look to love to fill a void. Instead, he sees it as a beautiful complement to his already fulfilling life. His self-worth doesn't come from the approval of others, and because of this, he attracts people who appreciate his independence and strength. Women are drawn to men who are already complete within themselves. The Stoic man stands firm, emotionally grounded and content, with or without a partner. This self-sufficiency is incredibly magnetic. As Marcus Aurelius wisely said, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." By focusing on cultivating inner peace, purpose, and emotional mastery, you become the kind of man who doesn't need anyone else to fill his life, because your life is already full. When you embrace this mindset, love becomes something you attract, not something you chase, and that is the key to lasting, genuine connections. You are not chasing her. You are becoming the man she chases. Picture yourself, a quiet force in a chaotic world, standing firm like a mountain in a storm. The Stoic man doesn't rush after anything, especially not love. He stands tall, anchored in his own purpose, grounded in his values, and women naturally gravitate toward him, not because he's chasing them, but because he radiates something rare: self-sufficiency and inner peace. The Stoic man is not common, and that rarity makes him irresistible. As you walk your path, focused on your mission and mastering your emotions, you become someone who draws people in, not with empty gestures, but with a presence that speaks volumes. The world doesn't define you, your character does. And in the end, that's what makes the Stoic lover so powerful. He is not seeking validation. He is the source of it. Remember this: you don't become a Stoic to be loved. You become a Stoic, so love no longer defines you. When you're whole within yourself, love comes to you as a natural extension of your life, not the other way around. The Stoic man isn't defined by his relationships. He defines them. Let that be your truth.